Hi, everybody. This is Chris.
And this is Matt.
And this
Is not a review.
is not a review.
We complete each other's sentences. We're like a sweet old couple.
Yes. Well, we're like an old couple.
Yeah.
You've seen The Odd Couple. This is the old couple.
Right. The boring
Mm-hmm.
old couple that for some reason you're watching on YouTube. I don't know why.
Right.
Because you're hoping we'll talk about Boulder Dash
You're
at
hoping.
some point,
Mm-mm,
which we
no.
may or may not. Are you Googling it?
I'm trying to remember. I know one was Felix. What was the other one's name?
Felix Unger and shit.
Right?
Uh,
Oscar.
Oscar.
Oscar and Felix. So in the comments below, which of us is which?
Yep. This is a 1984 arcade game discussion.
Yes.
Boulder Dash.
Well, I mean, was it, I don't know. Can you call this? Here's my question. Here's the first philosophical question of the discussion.
I don't know if I'm ready,
I don't
but
know if
okay.
I'm ready either. Let me take a sip of coffee first.
Yeah, definitely. wish I
Discussion
had a
starts at 10:17. Is it an arcade game if it was never in an arcade?
Um,
I mean, most people I think are probably going to say yes, but
I think it's unique in this era to call something an arcade game that is not in the arcade because it could have been. Now there aren't really, you know, there's
there is a
arcade style
themed arcade
games.
style games, is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's what it is. This is our short game. We do
Mm-hmm.
two a month, short game, long game. This is like quintessential short game, something
Oh my god, so short.
you probably had it on a floppy disk that your friend from 7th grade gave you illicitly. Oh my god, this looks better on the Commodore than it does in
I was
DOS.
about to ask, did you play DOS or Commodore?
Oh, I played DOS with those pink and purple boulders. Oh my god, this
So
looks
you
way better.
heard the intro music. And I was
Yeah.
going to say, Auto Duel? Let's just get that reference out of the way. Auto Duel or this music for which is worse? I do have DOS recorded. We'll show that at the end because people
Like
have to see that.
definitely. What's playing in the elevators in hell? Is it the music from Boulder Dash or the music from
Auto Duel.
Auto Duel? Yeah, the DOS version looks like shit. It sounds like shit, but it's charming
Yeah, no, there's
for its hideousness.
yeah, where I at least could recognize a melody with this one, but it is particularly obnoxious.
It's shrill. It's so shrill. Well, I wish I would have played this on the Commodore.
Hold that thought. We'll get to it.
Okay.
Let's finish our history so we don't lose
Yeah,
it.
I'm sorry. I was taken aback because I didn't even look at it on Commodore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. 1984, created by Canadian developers Peter. God, I'm gonna get this wrong. Lipa, Liepa, and Chris.
Sure.
I'm gonna get this wrong. Gray, Gr. Through First Star Software. It sounds like this is almost what you would think like a game development process would be. They went to a publisher, the publisher's like, you got something here, but it's not quite right, and then they worked on it together and polished it, but then their publisher wasn't kind of living up to what they thought, so they went somewhere else and
Yeah. Yeah.
came up
First,
with this.
yeah. And this is probably their most known intellectual property that came out of First Star because
Mhm.
the only other one I really recognized on their list of games was Spy versus Spy because I had that on my Laser 128 Apple
Mhm.
compatible computer as a kid. Uh, and it was fun, but like Boulder Dash, you've probably heard of, and it was on a ton of different platforms. There was like a Nintendo. There were several Boulder Dash games, so it's like a real thing. But
I'm interested in Flip Flop. I'm looking at that right
yeah,
now.
I like the Omnicron conspiracy because it's topical because of COVID, but also because the tagline in Wikipedia is Ace Powers, intergalactic star, policeman extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire. Oh God,
That's awesome.
that's fantastic. And it's
Yeah,
got a great cover and came out by Epic, so
it's probably pretty good.
yeah, we'll have to get that on the list.
Yeah. But their last game was, I looked at it briefly, US Adventure. It's a game of geography and history trivia about the United States. And like, what a sad final project that is. Because that's like, a bunch of kids just like got that shit when they got their computer because their parents bought it. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Your parents buy your computer and they buy you your probably one and only educational games you're going to get with the
right.
thing.
And you don't even get fucking Where in the World is Carmen San Diego. You get US Adventure,
Adventure.
a game of geography trivia. Like, oh,
Right.
fuck.
What was your memorable educational game you got with one of your first computers? Because I know what mine was.
Mine was Where in the World is Carmen San Diego mostly, but there was also this game for the Apple where you were this little robot and you'd like walk and then you'd have to solve math problems. And I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
so little about it that I can't get it back. I can't hunt
No,
that
I
one
know. It's
down.
just this like smidge of
Yeah,
something there.
but it had robots for sure. It was a robot math game for the Apple. I'll PayPal anyone who can find it $10.
Very nice.
What
Mine
was
was
yours?
Wizard of Id Math.
Ooh,
Yeah, this monster was
ooh,
coming out of a cauldron, and you had to solve math problems at it, or it like
right.
ate
Solve
you or
math
something. I
problems.
don't remember what it was, but yeah, it would just like it came out of the cauldron. It'd say a math problem. You typed in the answer, or it gobbled you or something. I don't remember because I didn't
Hmm.
play it a lot. And the other games I got were Spellbound and Finders Keepers, which we've
Yeah.
played Spellbound. So I mean,
Yes. I hated it.
rough start for the Commodore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I wonder how many kids like got US Adventure and they were like, fuck computers, I'm done. Like and then
Hmm.
they could have been the next Bill Gates if only it weren't for First Star Software.
Well, and I wonder how many, just to completely sidetrack, because that is what we do. The Commodore wasn't the computer I got. I said I wanted a computer, that my friends had a Commodore, and my parents bought the salesman's pitch that I needed something better, and they got me a Tandy,
Mm.
but didn't get me any software for it, and didn't get me any programming languages. So I'm sitting at a DOS prompt, and I can run their like word processor, and I'm like, there's nothing I can do with this.
That's so
You've spent
disappointing.
like 3 times what you would have spent on the Commodore I wanted,
Right.
and no one else has it, so I'm not getting any pirated stuff either. Like nothing's. It's
Right.
just
It's just a sad story
yeah.
all around.
Hmm.
I'm glad they did you right eventually though.
Well, they literally, we did it for a day, and then they're like, "Yeah, there's nothing we can do here. We'll take it back." And
Hmm.
they took it back. I got a Commodore, and we went to Red Lobster. It was all good.
That's that's a good day, man.
That's a
Getting a
good day.
Commodore and going to Red Lobster,
As a
which
kid,
like
yeah.
when I was a kid, I thought that was like the epitome of what a fancy restaurant was
I was
like,
gonna say, I used to think like I need to get my good clothes on for Red Lobster.
right? Break out the vest,
Like,
the like
man,
braided leather belt. We're
can't
going to
just
Red
come in.
Lobster.
I gotta have my belt and not the T-shirt that doesn't have writing on it because we're going to Red Lobster.
Yeah,
Oh, times are
I'd still
different, man.
throw down on it.
As
I mean, I
it's,
have a serious fish allergy, but I'll go to Red Lobster. I don't care.
I'll risk it. I'll risk it for
Yeah,
Red Lobster.
yeah,
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
yeah. So this is published by Microfun, which was kind of apt.
Hmm.
Now, this game, it's not that this game is Microfun.
Yeah, I mean, we should get into it in a second. There were many sequels, including some for the Switch,
Yeah, I
which
wonder if.
I bought
Go ahead.
last night.
Oh, is it fun?
Uh, I want to save that for the end,
Okay.
but I do want you to know I have tried the newest version of it. So a lot of things I'm gonna say here. I guess I'll spoil it. A lot of things I'm gonna say about this sort of do get solved in the new one, but
Hmm.
it also I feel like loses some of its charm.
Yeah. This is a charming little game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So you played. My first question was going to be, did you play the PC or Commodore? You obviously played the PC. I think we
yeah.
should have tried the Apple. That was my regret. Is like going into Wikipedia for this last night and finding out it started on the Apple. I'm like, I got a feeling we did this game a disservice.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I don't know what the hell I was thinking playing this on DOS because like the Commodore color palette is perfect for this because it's all fucking brown and dirt. And like
there's a
the
lot
color
of
palette
red.
and the EGA color palette's like bright purple and bright green.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I should have like noodled that one out and
Well,
started with the
I
Commodore.
mean, we've told everyone from 1988 earlier, just don't with DOS. Just don't.
Yeah.
It's
Don't fuck
CGA
with
and
it.
VGA, and unless that's the only way to play it, don't. You'll never
Right.
be happy.
Right.
Once you get to VGA, all bets are off.
Oh yeah. Switch it up. And then
Mhm.
super VGA. Don't even get me started.
Oh, I know. It's
Aptly
a word that
named
starts with
also.
S.
Yeah. Satisfactory.
Yeah, there we go. Satisfactory VGA. Yeah, no, Super VGA really. And I know everyone out there's a bunch of Amiga because we're a retro channel. There's a bunch of Amiga people who are like, "Well, what about the Amiga was so good?" You're right. You know, pre 1988, the Amiga ruled the roost. Atari ST was pretty good for graphically, but
Mhm.
Amiga
Yeah,
was
Amiga always looked the
decidedly
best.
better. But
Yeah.
not all of us could afford that or had that. So
Yeah.
we
Some of
had
us had Tandies.
some of us had Tandies and
Those Tandies will rust out on you. You remember Gil, the Coleco salesman from The Simpsons, where he
mm-hmm.
like sells the school the Colecos? That's
Yeah.
what I think of whenever you talk about Tandy.
And Radio
Good
Shack and the
stuff.
Tandies had some like good computers through the years. Just I
You
didn't
got a
know enough
stinker.
about them at the time, and my parents certainly didn't. So
Yeah.
okay, so gameplay. We've already talked about graphics. C64, the sound is meh. It's okay.
Hmm.
It's it's fine. The graphics on graphics and my notes are C64 meh, PC woof.
Yeah.
Uh, especially like here's one of the things. Color palette aside, I mean that's a thing. But watch this. It
I've been
scrolls.
watching you do this for the last 10 minutes. Just like hurl yourself at this level.
Oh, I'm gonna do this for a little bit, and then I'll stop and go to the next one. But the screen scrolls. Where with the PC, it like chunks a piece at a
Right.
time,
Right.
and man, that's annoying.
Yeah. Right, because when you're looking for those little fucking gem things,
Mhm.
I'm swearing a lot today. I'm sorry. I've had a rough week. When you're dealing with those gems, you want the screen to scroll with you because you don't want to have to hoof it all the way over to the edge of the screen to find
Just
out if there's one thing,
right.
one row off. It's so
Mm-hmm.
annoying.
Well, and screen size is going to be one of my like I don't know on this. The real problem I had with the Commodore though that I liked better about the PC, the controls in this are rough.
Really. What are they like on the Commodore?
It's non-responsive and then does two at a time and then
Hmm.
like you'll be thinking you're going along and doing just fine and you'll push the button and it'll delay for some reason a second. Like I'm trying to time going through these rooms and I know what I need to do,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes he just barges right in and I'm like, no dude, like
Yeah, slow it down.
I think this is where I decide to like, yeah, no, I'm just leaving. Oh no, I'm gonna try it one more time. This isn't
Good
gonna
on you.
work.
I admire your tenacity here because
Yeah, that
oh,
was one where I'm like, okay, stop. And
right.
but no, no stop for me.
Yeah, I didn't have any beef with the controls on the DOS version. It's a little clunky just generally, which is
Little.
interesting because this game is the thing that I like about it is that it's a nice combination of strategy and just like going in balls out and
Mm-hmm.
running.
Yeah.
Um, but being having kind of clunky controls, you don't really feel excitement so much when you're running most of the time.
No, and this is where I wanted to really see, did they tighten it up with the Switch version? And the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the controls, you're flying, but you're not out of control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
that would be ideal.
I'm like, I don't like the graphics for the Switch thing. It's too cutesy and modernized,
Mm-hmm.
but control wise, it's way better. It's way better.
Well, that tracks. I mean, it is like,
Mm-hmm.
what, 20 years later or 40 years later? 20 years. Time goes by
I know,
fast.
man. Right? Yeah. No, they did this like cartoony 3D thing for the dude, and it's like it almost feels like I'm a '90s extreme dude. Like
Yeah.
it's
Ooh,
like,
that's dreadful.
oh, why did you
Do you
do
remember
that?
the dude's name?
It's still Rockford.
Is it? I
Yeah.
like Rockford as a
Yeah.
name.
No, I
I'm
did
not
like the good name
entirely.
for Rockford.
I don't fully understand the premise of this game, except that you're obviously underground,
Mm-hmm.
and are you a miner?
You're
Are you,
Rockford.
oh, are are you an archaeologist?
You're Rockford.
Are you okay?
There's nothing you're gonna. It's just your
You're just
Rockford,
Rockford.
and you're getting the gems, man. You want those gems.
Sure. You haven't really answered any of my questions,
I
but I
I
totally
have.
hear you. You got a fucked up head. And I noticed you chose the like really terrible, unexciting box art.
Oh, I love this box art. Oh my
The other
god.
box art, he looks like Indiana Jones, and he's going for it. And there's boulders falling, and
And that's more what they did with like the Switch version, but the kids got like that blonde spiked up '90s hairstyle, and
what are they
I don't
thinking?
know because they didn't come out in the '90s, so
Right,
like either originally or when they remade it. So I feel like they might just be out of touch with their demographic.
that might be.
uh,
It's so you're running around on these levels, and it's a
16 of
weird
them.
combination of puzzle
Hmm.
and action.
Yeah, and a
Like,
little exploration too. Like it isn't just run and react and try and figure it out. It's if I go over here and I do this, what is it? What's happening over here? You know?
yeah, yeah. Like you can get stuck where you just can't
Hmm.
do anything, and then time runs out and you die.
Yeah.
You can get crushed by boulders, and the boulders, at first it's hard to understand the rules that the boulders are following for when and where they fall. uh
But there are
like,
rules.
but there are rules, and you get a sense for them even if it's difficult to articulate. I'm not even going to try. But
Straight down. If they
right,
are on top of another boulder and they're stacked too high with nothing to their right or left, they will roll off. But
right,
if they are on top of dirt, they will not roll off.
right.
And they will roll towards whichever side has the bigger gap.
Yeah. Well done. Well said.
Yes. You're welcome, everyone.
Yeah. So now you know the physics of Boulder Dash.
Yeah. And even though you need to collect the gems, they will crush you if you try to.
Right. So don't get, yep, as you've demonstrated here.
Yeah.
Don't get too grabby there.
Mm-mm.
Rockford is, gear down.
Even with 16 levels, one of the things I think they did really well in this is the levels are very different from each other.
Right. That really impressed me. Because there's sometimes where it's more puzzly.
Mm-hmm.
There's sometimes where it's more actiony, and
Sometimes it's mazy.
yeah, it's got a good amount of variety, and it's fun. And when you beat a level that you're stuck on, you feel like you did something awesome. But I will say that reward to frustration level did not really pay off. Like the payoff was more toward frustration than it was for the reward of finally beating the level.
Right.
Um,
Well, and this is where my frustration came mostly from the goddamn controls. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested, if I played this on Atari, would I still have that frustration? And I might go back and check it out. I probably won't, but I might. I might.
Yeah, can if you want.
Yeah. And if somebody played it on Atari and goes, the controls are tight, then all right, I'll give it a check. But
Yeah, yeah. You're right. Like if you felt you like you were running and gunning and dashing around boulders,
right.
I,
And
I
felt
could.
I could.
Mhm. But it's like pretty hard. Like level 3, I got stuck on for days, and maybe I just suck at Boulder Dash. But
No, I got
it's
stuck on
it's
level 3 back in the day too, and I eventually could like figure my way past it, but
mhm. Yeah. I mean, I got through it eventually, and that's where I was like, I was really excited and I was really happy. Like I finally did it. I did it while the clock was like ticking down 5, 4, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. And then I got to the next level, like, okay, here, this is a different pain in the ass.
mm-hmm.
Like you just did that pain in the ass. Now this is a different kind.
Yeah, I wish there was a difficulty level where the timer didn't matter.
Yeah, I think they need the timer because I don't think it has the AI required to tell you when you're stuck and can't win.
You could have added a kill command. A lot of games added a kill yourself command. That
Yeah.
was definitely a doable thing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, the timer, I mean, the timer definitely adds to the intensity, but it is a total pain in the
it's
ass.
a pain in
Eh,
the ass, and like with a lot of these games, you're trying to line stuff up, and I understand the pressure of a timer to add to that, but it could have been done with a high score mode or have a level without a timer or something like that.
mhm.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't find the timer overall an additive to the game as much as I think the developers might have thought it was.
I think that we, thinking back, often dog on timers. I think we're just not timer people. I think we don't like it
No.
as just like intrinsically in our personalities. There's something that makes us dislike timers. So if you don't mind, you know, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, if you don't mind. I think the timer comes from an era of arcade games where they were
Hmm.
trying to get money out of you. You know what I
Totally.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
we need you to get off the game and onto the next thing. But for home machines,
Are
that's
you
not the
sure
same audience.
there was no arcade version of Boulder
I'm not
Dash?
100%, but it didn't start there.
Okay. Google it. Google it on your Google computer. I definitely don't remember it being in any arcades, but that doesn't mean much. I don't remember what I did this morning.
Boulder Dash. Boulder Dash Data East 1990 Vintage Arcade. So, came out in 1990 in the arcade.
Oh, okay. So 6 years later,
Yeah.
man, you were bouldering and dashing around.
I am. I'm having a blast too. Uh, it's a fun game. I think, like, because my complaints are with the controls and the sluggishness, and I'm sitting here thinking things like Load Runner, there was some speed to that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder, you would have lost the character of Rockford. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If you shrunk it down to all fit on one screen. But I think you would have
Right.
gotten the speed that I think is sorely lacking.
That sounds fair. That sounds accurate. The speed is a problem, and it's a shame too because I really like these level designs.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're creative, varied enough, and I think there was a level maker too that you could
Yes, there
get.
was later a
So
Boulder Dash construction kit.
yeah, yeah. If you wanted to do that, you could have. I had no desire to, but
No.
because I didn't know what made these levels good, I just knew that they were good.
Yeah, right? Like, the people who design these levels know level design. Like,
Yeah.
they're all good, and they created 16 tight levels, each with a different sort of um, game theme.
Hmm.
And I would have felt like if I bought this game back in the day, I got my money's worth. Like, it probably would have sold for about 25, $30.
Hmm.
And I would have been like, yeah, that
Yeah.
that was that was the right amount for that game. Interestingly, the Switch version, first off, one of my complaints with it is there's all kinds of stupid unlocks and stuff, and
Of course.
it looks like a mobile game where you'd be like, okay, let's pay to unlock this or pay to unlock this. And I'm betting they ported over a mobile game and maybe removed some of the monetization, but left all the problems of it.
Hmm.
Um, so I got an issue with that. But the levels they put in at the beginning are much smaller and much
Hmm.
tighter. And so you can sort of blow through those first few, just boom, 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 in like seconds. I'm like, you could finish the entire first level in less than a minute, and not
Hmm.
after you know what you're doing. No, you can see the whole thing on the Switch screen, and you're through.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah,
Was it expensive on the Switch or was it deeply
15
discounted?
bucks.
Really? That seems high to me.
It is. It is. It's higher than I like. Something like this, $5 is probably right. 10 I
Hmm.
understand. 15 I raise an eyebrow at.
Yeah.
That's sort of my bar for pricing on the Switch for games like this. If you've
Yeah.
got something really good, really big game, okay, sure. But I'm
Hmm.
sorry, Boulder Dash is not your, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Yeah.
And not to dog on Boulder Dash, just I'm sorry, you're
Yeah. I
not
mean,
Darkest
it's
Dungeon, you know.
right. Yeah.
So
There you go.
yeah, I'll figure it
He's
out.
a cute little guy.
He is. I
Is he a
like the
bug? What
character.
is he?
No,
Yeah.
you see him on the screen. He's
Oh,
Rockford.
we covered this. He's Rockford. He's just
He's
Rockford.
just Rockford. Don't judge Rockford.
No, I mean, no, I would never. I would never.
Uh, so Pinnacle and Pit. Let me ask you that because there's really not much to say about this.
My I think my pit was well. I'll start with my pinnacle. It was when I beat level 3 because level 3. When we talk about the level design,
Yeah,
I think I'm stealing
I
your
think you
pinnacle
are.
and pit. I think we had a very similar experience. So level 3 is particularly clever because you kind of like maze your way through getting gems that are stacked all over, but it's really easy to screw yourself so you can't get across to the exit,
Mm-hmm.
um, or to certain gems.
Yep.
And I kept like fucking it up. I'd either like be careless and get crushed with boulders, or I would
Get trapped like
go
I
too
just did.
slow,
Yeah.
or I would get trapped. So I like was trying it a bunch of times, and I finally beat it. And I was like, yes. And the pit was actually not getting stuck in that level over and over. It was getting to the next level and like getting killed by those fucking butterflies over and over again. And at that point, I was just like, the the stress and the frustration didn't really pay off for me anymore.
Yeah. No, that was, and that's why I told you just jump ahead to some of the other things to kind of look around. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there's
have
a
my
level
Pinnacle Pit
skip.
as getting to level 4. My pit level 4.
Totally. Oh, we did have the same pinnacle and pit
Yeah,
then.
and then I went seriously though. The controls are the pit. Just
Yeah.
like level 4 wouldn't have been if. And I tried multiple controllers. I tried keyboard. I tried different ways of controlling this guy.
Hmm.
And I remember this being a problem back in the day, so I don't think it's a problem of modernization.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a problem with the C64 version, and that's why, maybe I'll give this a shot and go back and try it on something else, because the premise, the design, the puzzles are all clever and interesting, and I want to do more with them, but also not with those controls.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally fair. It's a good arcadey game. It was
Mm-hmm.
a good short game
Yeah.
because like you get it right away. It's hey
Sorry,
hey
man.
hey
Sorry.
hey
Sorry.
and
I'm
yeah,
just
watch it.
playing you off, keyboard cat.
You can skip levels, which is great because there's a lot of clever levels, and there's probably going to be some that you would like really enjoy. So definitely, I
Something you'd
would
really
say
enjoy, and also like once you've gotten past level 4, do you really need to grind through them again to get to the other?
totally, yeah,
Like, no, let me just jump to where I was. I've done them. I don't need to keep redoing them.
yeah, right, right. And I didn't really even clock that there was a level skip option until you told me. So I was playing through like levels 1 and 2 a bunch of times and getting annoyed by it.
I'm betting you didn't read the manual.
No, I had a hard time finding the
I
manual.
had a really hard time finding the manual, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't doing something weird. Um, and that's where I found out things like if you hold the button and push at something, it will interact with that. So, like, if you want to dig something out but don't want to actually go into that
Step
square,
into
you
it.
can do that. You can push boulders. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. There's just a bunch of stuff that was really, like, I wouldn't say intuitive, but once you hear it, you're like, oh, yeah, that makes total sense. You know what
Right.
I mean? It's not something you're going to stumble on your own, but at the same time, like, oh, yeah, no, that's
Yeah. Yeah, I
like,
did figure out that you can do that.
yeah.
So, but you're right. Like it's good to check the manual because there's a lot of those flashy tiles, and you're like, is this going to kill me? Is it? Do I
Right.
want to engage with it?
Well,
Um,
and then hearing like reading in the manual like there's an amoeba thing. I'm like, what is that? I need to go see what that is. And just seeing the amount of variety they brought to
yeah.
things. Um,
Well, you
I
you
just was hell bent. At this point, I was burnt out.
yeah.
Like I'm just kind of powering through this.
You that's exactly the experience of this game. You just get burnt out on it really, really quickly, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But meh, you know,
Here you go, buddy.
this is the DOS version. Let's see it. God, great
Uh,
logo though.
let me check something here. Okay, ready? Oh, it's not doing it.
Yeah, this thing is ugly as balls.
I'm not gonna do it here, but if you can find it, go find the audio for that intro screen. But yeah, this is
The-
this. I could barely tell the difference. But it took me a moment. I'm sitting here looking, going, "What's the difference between the boulders and the diamonds?
right. It's
what am
just
I even
so
looking at?"
ugly.
And he just moves a little slower. The C64 version moves faster. And then here's a screen scroll, like we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like
Right
it's
where you,
fine if you had a DOS and or PC. Like this would be a good version of Boulder Dash, I guess. I mean, comparatively,
Mhm.
you're the one who picked the PC. It's no one to blame but yourself. You know.
Yeah, but it's just so hideous. It's like remarkably ugly with the pink dirt, and it just like
And
makes
the
no sense at all.
animation's not great, and the
No,
sound isn't great, and
nothing about it is great. But that's
yeah,
what I played. I didn't even try the Commodore. I wish I would have thought to try it, but I
I'll
didn't.
follow up with you next time to make sure. Like,
Yeah.
hey, buddy, you're you're
Well, you
subjecting
usually
yourself.
tell me like the best platform to play these that you've played.
Yeah,
And I do appreciate that because if left to my own devices, this is what I
apparently,
end
what you
up
do.
involved in. It's like, oh, it's DOS. I like DOS.
I
I
like
got
DOS
DOS
games.
box.
I like DOS.
Got
Yeah, I do.
I got the solid DOS box configuration where it, like the windowing works, and like I
Yeah.
spent time on it. You know,
Mhm. And there are some games like Wizardry where you're not losing that much between each. That yeah, do the
right,
DOS version because then you don't got to go through an emulator and
right,
but yeah.
yeah. I think that might be about it about Boulder Dash.
Yeah, I think so. Let me jump ahead here. Boop.
Yep. You just this is the level that I got stuck on.
Right. And this was
And
the
it's
level I got stuck on as a kid too. Like
yeah.
I didn't even know there were butterflies until we played it again for this time. And
Yeah.
I was gonna say I could see myself like going back as a kid and maybe playing this over the summer and trying really hard to get through it. But obviously I didn't. I had it and I
Right. You
never
just didn't.
wanted to. Like I don't know.
Right.
It's not a bad game. It's charming. It's
Yeah.
if you have fond memories of it, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But
just
I'm
like
also
the
not in
payoff's
love
not
with it.
quite there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. Let me do this. We know our long next or our long next game. Our next long game.
Yes. The first Might and Magic.
First Might and Magic. You still playing?
Still playing.
Still playing.
Still grinding up those levels.
That's how you do it. Our next short game. Maybe it's a short game. Maybe it's not a short game. I'm going to presume it's a short game because I got a feeling we can only take so much of it.
It is
Pickle Wars.
the Pickle Wars trilogy on CD-ROM. Wow.
Yeah. We found out about this when we were doing what? Stunt Island, was it?
I think so, yeah.
Because it uses whatever that sound card.
Right.
Box.
And for some reason we expedited the shit out of this because we were like, we got to get Pickle Wars trilogy in.
Yeah, I pulled up my list today and I'm like, why are you the next? I'm like, all right, whatever.
Is there a Day of the Triffids video game, I wonder? Have you ever read or seen a Day of the Triffids movie or book? You can figure out which is which. It's quite good. It's like 50s kind of post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic sci-fi about plants that first everyone goes blind, then we get attacked by mobile plants. It's something. I just kind of stumbled across it and am engrossed in it at the moment.
I don't think
it's a weird sci-fi property that I think is probably underdeveloped. Like I think they've made a few different movies from it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw some movies, game adaptations.
Because I played the shit out of that. I think there's flamethrowers. Someone should make like a high budget AAA Day of the Triffids game. I'll play it. Someone do it. Microsoft, you own everyone now.
Okay.
Did you find it? Does it
so
exist?
There's two game adaptations. There's two game sort of situations that involve this. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the first one, but it's a non-profit organization that pioneered experimental education summer camps in Czechoslovakia in the 80s, developed an outdoor game based on the story.
Fun.
I feel like that tracks too for Czech.
Sounds great.
The Italian version of the 1983 Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Shambling Mound fantasy adventure figure by TSR, named Triffido di Nicolato. I slaughtered that for anyone who speaks Italian, sorry. Called the Slouching Triffid. So there are references to it in games.
Yeah. But no, I want like
let's play
Call of
let's
Duty.
play the story.
Yeah.
I would imagine you said everybody goes blind first.
Yeah, right. That doesn't make for the best video game.
That doesn't make for a good video game.
Right.
How do they see things?
Well, not only there, a few people still have their sight. It's anyone who watches this crazy meteor shower goes blind.
Oh.
But the main character was stung by a triffid or something, and like I don't remember exactly. My attention goes in and out. But anyway, I think Pickle Wars is probably the closest we're gonna get.
I'm trying to remember. There's an indie game.
Pen and paper?
Video game.
Okay.
Is it perception?
What is it? What does it do?
So you're making your way through the world and you're blind, was my understanding. And what you do is when you like stomp your foot or make a loud noise, you see this sort of sonaric echo of the world for a brief moment while you've made the noise, and then it all goes dark again.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember the name of the game. If someone remembers it, please put it in the comments. I'll try and mention it somewhere, either Discord or Reddit or in the notes or something.
Is it modern?
Yes. It's not too long ago.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look into it.
Give me one more second, just to, if I can.
Possibly right now.
Possibly right now. I'm not.
I mean, I want to know. I'm curious about it.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll find it. Mention it someplace.
I think it's perception. Perception gameplay. 25 minutes of blind horror. Oh, I'm playing it in my ears.
I don't think. Well, actually, maybe now that I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I think this is probably it. It looks cool. It's horror. I like a good horror game.
On me. Sorry, world.
I know.
Yeah,
well, this is unprofessional.
Oh, yeah. We've never been professional.
Yeah. Feel free to tune out. We're just going to Google stuff for a couple more hours.
I was going to say, we've got about 44 minutes of recording and content starts at 46. If you're still watching, thank you for joining us for this whole time.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Ourselves. Yes. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Big thank you to all of you watching, sharing, liking, subscribing, suggesting games, commenting on our videos, or supporting us on Patreon. We appreciate all of your support and look forward to sharing many more videos with you. Thank you again.